Hi, everybody. I'm going to start with the quiz. How many of you have been to Farrell Hall before? Raise your hand. And how many of you know that there's something going on in the basement of Farrell Hall? And how many of you think you could describe what's going on in the basement of Farrell Hall as how it relates to national scale water forecasting? Okay. So you learn something new every day. This talk is designed, Flash Talk is designed to bring you some new news. We've been in the building for 3 years. We moved in January of 2023. There were a few enablers that helped out. One of them, actually, Janine Valcour, just raised her hand in the back of the room, helped with the proposal writing process. Gund was really influential in this. The network of researchers that we built at UVM through the Gund Institute was one of the key enablers for what's going on in the basement of Farrell Hall. We've also built a lot of capacity over the last decade or so on water-related work through our EPSCoR programs, both the research on adaptation to climate change in the Basin Resilience to Extreme Events projects, and we have a go-getter vice president for research. It's after funding. So what we are about in the basement of Farrell and across campus is working on a national consortium called the Cooperative Institute for Research to Operations in Hydrology, which includes 28 institutions across the country, of which we, the Catamounts, are one. Cairo is designed to assist the National Water Center in water predictions, improving water predictions for the country, and really to improve this national scale flood forecasting model. How many of you use a weather app on your phone to look at what the weather's going to be like tomorrow? The National Water Model will allow you to dial up any stream in the country and look at what the stream flow conditions will be like tomorrow, next week, up to 30 days from now. Cairo is organized around 4 research themes, and they're on this bubble on the left. I won't read them to you, but you could easily Google Cairo and come to this figure of the research themes. UVM had a couple of really key contributions to this, one of which was the social science dimension. In the hydrologic world, there aren't that many social scientists. So what we brought to the consortium through UVM in the social sciences sphere was really important. All Cairo research has to serve the operational needs of these 3 federal agencies, primarily NOAA, but the USGS and also the Army Corps are contributing funding to the consortium. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice today. There are 4 key research areas that UVM is really contributing to. One of them is improved forecasting in mountain systems, groundwater-dependent systems, and snow-dominated systems. And there are only a few members of the consortium that work on these areas. Another area that we're working on is AI-informed representation of what we call the hydrofabric, or the model domain that represents the landscape and how water moves through it. We have a whole body of work at UVM working on extending stream flow predictions to water quality predictions. And we have a 4th area of focus working on things like risk perception, flood communications, decision support, and enhancing the design of forecasts. And in all of these areas, there are a whole bunch of people at UVM involved. This is just some pictures of that community, some numbers of how many people are involved in this community. There are a whole bunch of partners that we are also working on. There's this research to operations pipeline, but there's also the feedback from operations to research. And there are partners that we built across the state of Vermont that are participating in some way in our Cairo projects. And then finally, if you want to learn more, there's a whole bunch of ways you can do that. There are a bunch of Gund fellows and affiliates that are PIs or co-PIs. Jessica Balerna started here as a Cairo postdoc and then grew up and went upstairs. We have a website for Cairo at UVM. On our funding opportunities page for the Water Resources Institute, we post the Cairo research priorities, and I have a webinar about how researchers can propose. You can corner me in the room or sometime at Farrell Hall, because I'm there. And you could join some of our events. We do these Monday afternoon, kind of our version of the Gund Exchange called Water Connects. Okay?